I hear you're a pufferfish, in which case I have to extract your organs to make zombies with.
My oil?
Your oils. Your essential oils. Look, man, I don't know about you, but I'm partial to a good zombie, and I don't mean the brain-eating type. And, or I guess the flesh-eating type. I don't know, what's the consensus here? I feel like a lot of people think zombies eat brains.
Well, most
but
of
really, that's
flesh.
that's really like the least plausible scenario in most zombie lore.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they're just eating flesh.
Yeah, sucking on freaking guts and shit.
Sometimes they're just running around, ravenously biting people, and then that's it.
Yeah, those are like the worst zombies because they're inconsiderate to the freaking people they kill. It's like, if you're gonna kill me, at least freaking eat my ass.
I don't know. I feel like maybe that's a little bit more true to what a virus would do. Just try to spread.
True though that may be, I am like an Indian and, and like to use every piece of my kill.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good philosophy.
Yeah.
I guess the zombies could learn something from Native Americans.
Yeah.
The ones that used every piece of their... I feel like there was some wasteful Native Americans somewhere along the way.
Oh yeah, there definitely was, but those were like the douche ones
Like
that no one liked.
Like they were like, look, dude, I don't feel like using this pelt.
Yeah.
Fuck that
I
shit,
don't
just
wanna
throw
eat
it over
this-
there in the ditch.
I don't want to eat this sack, dude. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I feel like we're missing some history there. Like, there's some ditch somewhere with tons of buffalo sacks.
They call it the sack ditch? The sack pit?
It's the real Sarlacc pit. It's just the sack pit.
Damn, homie.
Anyway, George Lucas steals from other things, much like the Americans stole the land from the natives. Brought that around, but has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about, so it didn't bring it around.
No.
We're actually talking about a little movie that, look, man, everybody's familiar with Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
And because of that, they're familiar with the name Wes Craven. And because of Wes Craven, people became kind of prone to watch certain movies, i.e. Scream, which itself was a great movie, which made Wes Craven's name even bigger a household name. And that always strikes me as strange that people have, I don't know, such fond feelings for this man. But rarely do I ever hear people talk about anything besides those two franchises, basically.
It's true.
Right? Like, I don't see people
I
going...
mean, it doesn't help that the dude made like 8 million TV movies,
That's
which,
true.
as established in my lore, don't count.
I mean, yeah, technically, if you're going to go theatrical release,
Yeah.
only filmography, his early efforts were just a bunch of TV movies.
Yeah.
They count, mind you.
And thus, unofficially, though officially in my mind, feast.
It was a different era, man. Well, TV movies counted back then. They were good. Maybe not all of his, though. Some of them were pretty lame. But look, man, Wes Craven may have an inconsistent filmography. Case in point, Shocker, which is shockingly bad.
People like it.
I know there's people that like
yeah.
it, but holy shit, is that a bad movie? That being said, he has a far more consistent filmography than, say, someone like Tobe Hooper.
Oh, yeah.
Which, let's face it, was addled on drugs.
Yeah,
like,
we went through his
half of his life.
filmography recently, as in like just going through it visually, and we were like, man, this dude had some feast.
Yeah. That being said, Craven, you'd think after watching something like Nightmare on Elm Street or even New Nightmare, which he was also responsible for, or any of the Scream films, which have tons of fans, people would be craving for more Wes, but they rarely ever indulge in anything else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe a little Last House on the Left. I feel like that would be like the third one that gets a lot of attention. I think people see The Hills Have Eyes, but they kind of like, you know, they prefer the newer one, which I don't blame them for. It's a better version.
Dude.
But look,
I liked
there's a lot.
And then again, I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's not as good as everybody recalls it being. It's good. It's just not as good. And then there was a sequel, which he was responsible for, which is pure feast. What I'm saying here is, as much as I get people not wanting to explore something like The Hills Have Eyes Part 2, the original one, you know, I also don't understand why they don't indulge in some of the other movies that he's made that are out there, his name's attached to them. They can look up his filmography and go, oh, he made that? Let me check it out.
Because like 90% of them are freaking TV movies.
I'm saying his theatrical releases, damn it. You know, like, well, where those? Why? Why don't they indulge in these? Maybe they saw Shocker and were like, nope, not going to do it again.
And that other shitty one that he did before he died.
That's not even an excuse, because apparently a bunch of people like Shocker, so why wouldn't they explore further?
That's a
The
good
point is,
anyway,
there's some shit that they're not, getting into, and I think the saddest overlooked movie, and by I mean the saddest, I don't mean the movie's sad, I mean the saddest case of an overlooked film in his filmography is The Serpent and the Rainbow, which, came at basically the turn of his popularity there, starring Bill Pullman, which, it's a fairly decently well-known name.
Which, as you said in the beginning of the movie, is about a gay serpent.
Yeah, Serpent and the Rainbow is also the name of a gay porno. Don't get that one.
Damn, is it?
I don't know. Shit, man. Why are you so interested?
I was gonna look that shit up, dude.
I knew it. Anyway, it's all BBC.
Yeah, dude. Serpents
Tons
are
of them.
It's insanely large.
And they're really long. Anyway, no, man. Look, The Serpent and the Rainbow is a movie that tackles the idea of real-world cases of zombieism. Not the Romero type. Not that kind. The ones linked to the practice of voodoo. And the movie itself is based off of a book by the same name, a nonfiction book by a guy named Wade Davis, an ethnobotanist that was looking for the roots, the methodology behind
Zombies.
the zombie phenomena, i.e. the ingredients being used to do this, for medical purposes.
Yeah. Turns out the main ingredient is sick beats. Boom, ba-ding, boom, boom, ba-ding, boom.
That's horrible, man. Anyway, we know those beats were not sampled by Lily Singh.
Damn,
Stinky! Anyway, look, man. All jokes aside, I feel like I would get into voodooism just for them sick beats.
Yeah. Felt like you were gonna jump on my sick beats.
I was trying to get that line in, but you just brought up the beats out of nowhere. I was like, man, this homeboy just stepped on my fucking beats,
you felt offended that I took your beats line?
I felt like I was cursed.
Yeah.
This movie apparently was cursed, though, because people just kind of forgot it existed. Mm-hmm. But I didn't. And, in some circles, it is very highly regarded. Some would even dare say it's Wes Craven's best movie. I would dare say that. Now, I'm going to fully admit that a movie like Scream is far better constructed, and it had a lot more to say artistically about an entire subgenre.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm just a sucker for this type of movie. You know what I'm saying? And there's a fucking ton of good shit in this fucking flick. As aforementioned, this movie is based on the works of on this anthropological, botanical fucking piece of nonfiction from Wade Davis. But he was, of course, kind of pissed off at the depiction of everything once the movie actually hit the screens because the studio wanted a horror film.
Yeah.
After all, they hired Wes Craven to direct the damn thing. What did you expect?
So I gotta ask. I don't know if have you read the book?
Oh yeah, a long time ago. In fact, when I first saw this movie is when I read the book.
So I gotta ask, as an adaptation.
It's not a good adaptation.
Feces?
No. Yeah, look, man. If you're looking for a loyal adaptation of Wade Davis's experiences as depicted in that book, that's not what this movie is. I understand why Wade Davis was like, what the fuck is this crap?
Did homie at least get his nutsack messed up?
No. But look, the basic journey of the character is about what you'll get. That's like the minimalist skeleton that remains, and certain ideas and pursuits of the character. But other than that, this movie has been padded out to be a horror movie centered around this concept, this idea, this event that happened. Okay, so if you haven't seen The Serpent and the Rainbow, it's about they even changed Wade Davis's name, which I guess was probably a good idea because he probably would have been like, dude, faming me at this point.
Although they did drive a freaking nail through his sack.
You're really obsessed with sacks in this fucking video.
I want to know that happened.
Look, the point is they changed the name of this character, and now we have what was his name? Dr. What was his name? Alan something Allen.
Damn, I remember Alan something.
Anyway, the point is they changed the character's name. but the locations remain the same. Okay, so we have this doctor pursuing this knowledge of the roots of zombieism in the wake of this person's return from the grave, supposedly, and that also was what inspired the true case, Dr. Wade Davis, to go and search for this I don't know what, like fucking, what do we call this? Like this potion, I guess, this powder. Anyway, that happened. You know, some dude came back and was like, "Yo,
I'm alive.
It's pretty good. Maybe we should find out how this fucker came back."
Yeah.
So anyway, once our character gets to Haiti, he is immediately in the crosshairs of a corrupt police captain who is kind of suspicious of his intentions there, not only on the metaphysical side, but on the political side, because this captain operates under the tyrannical dominion of Baby Doc, the fucking Haitian despot that ruled in the day. So because of that, he decides to take out his frustrations on the good doctor, and many a voodoo-like scene ensues. What does that mean for this movie? Well, a lot of crazy fucking dream sequences, basically. Crones, fucking serpents, and rainbows.
Hell yeah, dude. Zambies?
Basically, yeah, a little zombie action.
Being buried alive?
You've never seen this movie, right?
Nah.
Okay, so this is your first time. What do you think? What's your takeaway?
I think it's an interesting horror flick because it's very different. You mentioned earlier that it has kind of like a weird National Geographic kind of feel.
Mm-hmm.
It does, at first, and then it also is interesting in that the horror stuff is not super crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't have like ghouls running around and shit. They do appear, crones even, but they're in dreams. So it still feels believable.
Yeah.
You know? Never goes super crazy until maybe the end when dudes are flying through the air like Wolverine.
The end's like suddenly it's Dragon Balls, only with magic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But the fact that it feels so kind of grounded up to that point is a very interesting feeling movie.
Yeah. Yeah, this movie is, like you say, unique in its approach to the material. You know, there wasn't really a lot of genuine voodoo zombie movies before this that are of its kind. Definitely not ones that treated in this fashion. I mean, like, you know, like the Valiant era, like I Walked with a Zombie, maybe Hammer's Plague of the Zombies. I mean, there's not many. Pretty much once Romero did his zombie thing, every zombie movie was like that, or to some form or another like that. But this one went back to these core anthropological, cultural roots.
The zombies aren't the monsters.
Yeah, the zombies aren't the monsters; they're victims. In fact, the monsters are the voodoo priests and not even just the voodoo priests. There's good voodoo priests, but the voodoo priests that distort the magic into black magic. And but yeah, the movie is basically like, it steeps you into this culture and their traditions for a good portion of the running time, like about 50% of the movie.
I would say that there isn't even really, I mean, they establish him early on, but there isn't really a confrontation, like big confrontation with the villain till pretty far into the movie. Mm-hmm. You know, they establish his presence and the fact that he's there, but you don't really get that confrontation between him and the main character until pretty far into the movie.
Yeah. He's more of a lurking presence rather than anything. And it works because it's pretty clear that this guy's fucking evil. One, because he's butt ugly.
You got that lip.
The actor, he's great. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Zakes, whatever the fuck. He's a great actor. He's a great face. You know, he's worked with Wes Craven afterwards. Most notably in Vampire in Brooklyn. And, you know, he's in other great horror classics like Dust Devil. But this was the first time I had ever seen this guy. And he just has an evil look.
Yeah, he's got that little, like, The little lip thing he does.
Yeah, like a little snarl.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
he's
know.
kind of enjoying it a little.
Yeah.
He's got good evil teeth.
He's got that aura of I'm not even worried.
Yeah.
And yet I know I got this, and yet I'm enjoying it.
I'll mess with you.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
a freaking Wolverine through the air.
Apparently, but he's such a ominous presence that it works, man. Just to keep him in the background and to know that his position of power is more of a menace for the majority of the movie. And our main character is also very skeptical, which also kind of helps keep this vague sense of what is and what isn't for a while, until it becomes adamantly clear that perhaps the spiritual, metaphysical aspects are actually weighing in a lot more than we assumed. So the movie kind of sneaks up on you in that way, not only by its presentation, but by the way it approaches its villain. So pretty cool, and that's 50% of the movie, until our character makes his way back home, having run into many a circumstance where trouble came his way.
His sack gets pierced.
I'm trying to avoid you bringing sacks up, but anyway.
There's a long sequence of sack piercing.
He eventually has to return because he did fall in love with someone there.
Yeah.
And she might be in trouble at the hands of this voodoo madman who, by the way, still reaches out across an ocean there, or a sea, I guess, and manipulates in dreams. So here we get that concrete supernatural thrust for the movie. And it's still very much kind of like a hallucinogenic trip type of approach to it. What did you think about this? This is a very non-traditional form. You can argue that in a lot of ways Wes Craven went this route in something like Nightmare on Elm Street because we're dealing with nightmares in that. But here it's nightmares, but it's just not the same as Freddy. What do you think was more effective, the Freddy nightmares or this type of nightmare? Where are you at with that? Are they both as effective to you?
I think if you're just looking at the first Nightmare, which you have to.
Mm-hmm. But besides New Nightmare, that's the only one he directed.
He's been hella freaking. I mean, Freddy as a whole has been kind of. I would still say this is probably more effective because it's creepier.
Yeah.
Like Freddy freaking encounters as you're pretty much dead. Here it's like, nah, dude, he's gonna mess with you still.
Yeah, as much as Freddy likes to play with his food, he ultimately fucking offs you.
Yeah.
This motherfucker is literally batting you around.
Yeah.
Going.
He already won.
I already won, basically, yeah. He's so confident in his power. You know what I'm saying? He's very confident in his power, and he's almost like unflinching at anything that comes his way because of the position he's in on top of the power that he has. It's like a double whammy, So yeah, man, the nightmare sequences in this are pretty freaking dope. A lot of visual ingenuity being used. I particularly enjoy the one where Bill Pullman's character, again, I forgot his fucking first name in this, but anyway, Dr. Allen, whatever the fuck, but anyway, he's in his room and the room becomes his casket, basically. And, they play with the fucking architecture of the room to eventually make it become his casket, and then he drowns in blood. Just a lot of really cool, just strange imagery.
And crones.
We have a crone sequence with, usually we frown at the whole stretchy mouth in horror thing. What is the stretchy mouth thing that mummies and other dead creatures do? But that's usually because it's crappy CGI stretchy mouths. Was this the first case of a stretchy mouth corpse?
I feel like there might be another stretchy
mouth
corpse.
There might be. But if there is, I don't want to know about it.
This is an early stretchy mouth corpse.
Early stretchy mouth corpse. And it's pretty cool, man. Just this weird undead sorceress bride crone thing. And, when our main character lifts her veil, she's this hideous creature. And she stretches her own mouth out in this fucking serpent comes out. No rainbows though.
Yeah,
What's
I
up
was
with
like,
that?
where's the freaking rainbow, dude?
Yeah, just really cool imagery with the fucking nightmares here, and I think they really established that idea of psychological warfare pretty good, because it kind of has to pay off at the end, you know. Now whether that happens or not, we'll find out, because the end, as aforementioned, is kind of like this out of nowhere. Holy shit! What the fuck just happened? Are we in anime like battle all of a sudden? You know. This might make or break it for some people. I know some people that totally dislike the way the ending happens. I know some people that are like, I guess, kind of confused by what it's communicating.
Yeah,
like there's one point where, and mind you, we know this because of the way the movie presents it, and there's literally a character that tells our main character, "Yo, this battle's not only gonna be physical, but it's gonna be mental." So it's set up. But it's just so like, what the fuck? Why did this guy just come through a wall?
Yeah, the way they show it, and especially because there's a scene that actually happened already, and then right after there's like more, so you're kind of like...
Yeah, because before we get this psychological battle, we do have the priest kind of like using the full brunt of his powers to bend reality and cause visions to accost our main character. Really cool, by the way. Just like a priest ripping his head off, and these long desiccated arms reaching out from walls.
Long arms.
Brian Longcaring. And just a really cool imagery. And so already reality has been distorted on the physical sense. And then he goes on to defeat the villain. No spoiler. I mean, obviously, the bad guy's got to die at least once in the horror movie, right? And just like any horror movie, the bad guy comes for one more. Except here, the return is on a psychological level. And I guess that's what these people are referring to.
Yeah.
Like, either they miss that point, or they think it's way, like, what the fuck?
I can kind of see that because of the way it's...
he Wolverines through a wall,
He does Wolverine through a wall.
Launches through a wall.
But at the same time, in the previous scene, he was consumed by souls. So at that point, your freaking...
Yeah, at that point,
your perception of reality is kind of like, what is actually happening?
Yeah, if you don't get it, he's dead in the previous scene. He erupted in flames. Good burn, by the way. They even put the little, tight knots of hair on the burn suit.
Yeah, look gross.
Usually we get shitty burn suits, and a pretty good burn on this one. But anyway,
his hair does randomly turn white in that scene.
It's interesting to note that this movie was originally 3 hours long, and when we go into full Dragon Ball Z mode at the end,
and there's even hair color changes.
Damn,
dude.
The bad guy's like Super Saiyan. He has gray hair instead of black, which he had the whole movie. I'm sure it was explained in the 3 hour version. But here it's just like, this guy's got white hair now. And I can only assume it was because of the amount of power he was using or something. I don't know. But for anybody that's wondering, will we ever get that elusive 3 hour cut? No, because Wes Craven's dead. And 2, he didn't want the 3 hour cut. He saw it and he was like, this is boring. So he cut it down to 98 minutes. So, but you know what? I'd be interested in seeing that cut, but I don't think anything's really missing. This is actually a pretty well-paced movie. I don't think there's ever a down moment in the movie. I'm actually surprised at how much is in the movie. Like, literally at the 50-minute mark, you can be like, oh, this movie ended. It would just be a little anticlimactic. But...
Oh, yeah.
But really, there's a whole another hour to go, basically. And that's pretty cool. It's like you're getting 2 movies in one, almost. 3 if you count that sudden change in the end. But yeah, a lot to chew on in that regard. Give me something, man, good or bad, that you liked in the movie. Is there anything bad in this movie, or that you don't particularly jive with? And give it to me.
I don't think there's anything bad. If I wanted to like be a little nitpicky, which I do a lot of times on this show, is that they didn't show the sack piercing. No, it's it's some of like the effects weren't amazing.
Example?
The crone looked cool.
Uh-huh.
But it was very obviously rubber, and like the arms are very obviously puppet arms, the guy tearing off his head, super fake. It doesn't break anything. You just kind of notice it, you're like, oh man, it looks like rubber. but I think what they're trying to put across is so cool. They're kind of like forgiving of it, you know?
Yeah, there's a type of physical effect that just sucks balls.
Yeah.
And there's a type of physical effect where you're like, I appreciate this.
Yeah.
Even if it didn't 100% work. And every physical effect on in this movie, I think, if it's not great, which there are some great ones in here, it's that where you're like, respect. All right, I see you, and I like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's cool.
Could
man.
be a little less rubbery, but I'm all for it.
Yeah. I happen to like a lot of these weird effects. I think they add to the weirdness of the movie. Unintentional as that, you know, they may be sometimes. Azar and Longcar's Long Arms of the Law, the hallway is I'm particularly fond of. That's what they officially dubbed it.
Yeah, that's what the scene is in the DVD, the Blu-ray.
There's some really cool stuff to be.
Yeah, like obviously you can notice stuff like that, you know, like especially when she pulls her chaw down.
Yeah, the old chaw.
Yeah, you can tell that it's hella fake, but it looks cool, so you don't really mind.
Actually, that design, trust me, it'll grow on you. It's pretty cool. I had the same reaction the first time I ever saw it, and it's just a cool crone.
You're a crone fan now?
I would bone the crone.
Damn, homie.
No, I wouldn't bone the crone. It's not great. The movie is also populated with a lot of great faces and actors that unfortunately we didn't see a lot more of, because you know Hollywood is like mega, or especially back then it was mega against casting people that were not super white. So you know. Bill Pullman's a guy we saw again.
Yeah.
Our main bad guy again. Let me see if I can pronounce his name, man. I feel so bad that I can't pronounce his name.
Monkeys.
Zokis. Zakes.
It's not Zakes.
Zucchini. Zucchini, right?
Yeah, that's it.
I think it was zucchini. No, let me see. Zakes Moke. Zakas Moke. I don't know, man.
It's probably Zakis.
Zaki. He's South African.
Yeah, it would probably be Zakes.
He's a guy we've seen a few times, you know, but yeah, South African.
Wait,
you know,
it doesn't have the pronunciation right there, homie?
Hell no.
Damn.
But his middle name is Mcgana, so I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it was pretty good. Is he dead?
Yeah, unfortunately he passed away in 2009, I think, somewhere.
We could bring him back.
Yeah, man. He's just a guy that you'll recognize, and he's been in several, especially he's been in several genre affairs. But other than that, we have people that are pretty darn good, man. Like Kathy Tyson, who is the main female lead, that kind of becomes like the love interest of Bill Pullman's character. So First of all, super pretty.
Damn, I was gonna say.
Oh yeah, she's gorgeous, man. You know, again, just somebody that, you know, we didn't really see much of beyond a few things. So you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. But whatever.
I liked the dude that helped him make the powder.
Yeah. What's his name in the movie? Mozart? Yeah, great. Yeah, exactly, man. Just a bunch of great characters populate this fucking movie. Let me see. Brent Jennings didn't expect that one.
Damn,
huh?
Homie.
Ding 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 ding.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's
like one of those characters that starts off really scummy. And you end up liking him.
Yeah. It's a great character arc for him. Super cool. Alfred from the original Batman series.
Oh, that's who it was.
Yeah. So he's a pretty good character in this too.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the majority of the characters that play are Afrocentric casts, if you will. You know, it's unfortunate that we never got to see a lot more from them because they were really good in this. Really cool cast. And the locations. Half of this movie was shot, or a good portion of this movie, I should say, was shot on location in Haiti for the Haiti stuff. But, just like in the movie, there was a lot of civil turmoil, and they were like, yo, we can't keep you alive, guys.
Yeah.
So it's at your own risk. So they ended up shooting the rest of the movie in the Dominican Republic. But I gotta say, the locations are a big selling point for me in this. They just feel, again, it takes you back to that National Geographic feel that... you know what's a better parallel that I like to pull out? Like the Mondo Cane movies, you know? Like they bring that kind of like pseudo realistic, and yet you know it's all set up view of a certain culture to the world. And maybe it's a little bit exploitative because we are pushing on this whole zombie craze thing. But I think I think enough of the beautiful side of the culture is portrayed, as well as, you know, kind of like this. You got to have a bad guy, you know, otherwise your movie just blows. So, that's a big part of the allure of this movie for me. The locations are great. It starts in the Amazon. I thought that fucking section was cool with the, you know, the
Oh yeah, this guy has like a freaking like an animal form too that he channels at certain points.
Totally Power
like,
Ranger segment
homie.
at the end there.
He's like freaking morphing.
We get a prologue in this movie where our main character is in the Amazon and pursuing yet another, you know, botanical brew from some Amazonian priest who you know makes him drink it, and he's these harbingers of what is to come. That's where we first see our bad guy, but he also sees the spirit animal, which shows up again at the ass end of the movie at the Dragon Ball section, where literally as he's about to face off finally against the voodoo priest,
he morphs.
No, he doesn't morph, thankfully, but might as well, because his spirit beast roars from him and then enters him, and you're like, what the fuck?
It was exactly like the scene in Mortal Kombat 2 where Liu Kang learns his animality.
Yeah,
exactly like that.
Only not super shit.
Exactly, dude. Shot for shot remake.
It's a really weird movie, and under any other circumstances, the ending would have fucking not worked. But somehow it gels. Strange. I don't know about you, but I'm all about them beats, and the score in this is particularly good. We got this ominous, weird, droning kind of organ-style music half the time, and then the other time we got, apparently organs or drums. The other time we got kind of like a tribal rhythm thing going on. Really cool score. Yeah. Really cool score. Really memorable. Sticks out. Permeates throughout the film and gives it a particular atmosphere, if you will. I got to point out to anybody, I don't know if this was intentional or not. Again, the script was rewritten a few times, taken from the more realism into the world of horror. So I got to wonder if the people that, you know, made it, cultivated more to be horror-like, took some inspiration from Plague of Zombies, the Hammer film, because though the situations, the locations, and ultimately the things we see are very different, the basic structure is kind of the same. A guy goes to a town to investigate a mysterious death and rising, and comes into the crosshairs of a person in some sort of authority who turns out to be a voodoo priest.
Interestingly enough, though that is a pretty apt comparison, this movie was actually based on Panga, the third Curse movie, which no one knows about.
It was based on the fucking Akira, apparently. Anyway, anything we want to add to this before we give a final thoughts and score on Wes Craven's Super Gay Snakes, the movie?
It felt like it needed more gay snakes.
Yeah, Gay Snake Game's not on fleek, I gotta say that.
But other than that, it was pretty interesting. It's not what I expected. I guess I was expecting more of a like straight horror, which though it is, it does take an interesting approach to it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel cheap. I do think that ending might break some people, because it is bizarre. I'm fine with it. Though I think the Wolverine launching was bizarre. But yeah, I could see that one being kind of an iffy thing. But yeah, it was cool. I liked it.
All right, man. So let's give a final score on a scale of 1 to 10. Again, relative to films of its ilk. Not a lot of zombie or traditional voodoo zombie movies to compare it to. So we'll just put it in a general horror category, or maybe a general Wes Craven-esque category. Excuse me. So I gotta say that this movie is my favorite Wes Craven movie. I do feel like movies like Scream, as aforementioned, are better constructed and a lot more focused, if you will. But there's just something about this movie that's really special to me. I remember buying the VHS back in the 90s, and I remember very awkwardly watching this with my mother, and it was one of the first sex scenes I watched with her, and I was like, this is weird, right?
Interestingly enough, this is a movie you'd never wanted to show me for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't, because I felt that as a kid, you wouldn't get why I loved it so much. I don't know if I was right about that or not. you gotta keep in mind in the '90s you weren't really doing the horror thing yet. You got more into it in the 2000s. I remember you being scared.
In the 90s, I was literally a freaking fetus writhing around on the floor.
Yeah, so I felt like it needed to come in at an appropriate time. Somehow, time just slipped between my fingertips, and that time came decades later, apparently.
Instead, he showed me Burial Ground, Nights of Terror.
Damn, homie, you were so scared of me. I had to let you know that
it was
so
so bad, dude.
But this one is not bad. It's actually pretty great in my opinion, and yes, it is a very unique movie in the way it approaches what it's doing and how it's doing it. I feel there's a lot here to chew on, and it's a movie that like makes you want to see it again. Not because there's more to discover, not because you missed something. No, it's just there's something about it. Like I watched this last night. You had 3 movies that you put out before me to pick from, and I was like, I kind of want to watch it again.
Yeah.
There's just something about it that makes me want to see it again and again. But so I'm gonna kind of be a little bit biased, I guess. I can't shake that bias. But I'm gonna try to be as fair as possible. This is not a perfect movie, and it might that Dragon Ball Z ending might be like, what the fuck for some people. So I'm gonna try to be as fair, and for that, I'll give it a 7.5. Where are you at?
I don't think this is my favorite Wes film.
That would be Shocker.
Yes, dude.
Definitely not Shocker.
I thought you were actually gonna give a real guess, not Shocker.
No, I was trying to think of something worse than Shocker, and there isn't.
No, all his TV movies that don't count.
Oh man, Hills Have Eyes 2 is pretty bad.
Nah,
it's not even a movie for the most part.
I think my favorite is still the one with Ving.
The dog has memories in Hills Have Eyes Part 2, dude.
Oh, what?
That's not good. Anyway,
the one with Ving.
Ving Rhames? Oh, People Under Stairs?
Yeah, dude, it was so bizarre.
Yeah.
That it was probably my favorite. This is probably a better movie. I would say it's a better movie, but that's still my favorite. That being said, it's an interesting watch. I would say take the chance. You might not like it because it's so different and that ending, but give it a shot.
If you're dead set, how about this? If you're dead set on re-experiencing a Nightmare on Elm Street or Scream, this movie's not going to be for you.
Yeah,
this is no slasher thing. This is nothing like, not even remotely close to a slasher.
Yeah, it's very different from his other movies, especially different from his TV movies because this one's actually good.
It's your obsession with his TV movies.
If you like Sax being Pierce, this is pretty good. That being said, I'm gonna give it I think I'm gonna give it a. You get a 7.5?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
All right.
I do think that it's like you said, it's not perfect, and there's some stuff that could have been a little better, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm not hating.
Now
it's a strong 7.
Now I'm interested to see what you think about Vampire in Brooklyn, a not only maybe like purposely forgotten Wes Craven movie by a lot of people. One, because it had Eddie Murphy.
Yeah, that's weird.
Again, playing multiple roles in a horror movie that doesn't know whether it's a comedy or a horror movie. And Zox, whatever his fucking name, is back in that. And it's a very, it's populated by African American cast. You know, again,
That's
very different type of movie.
Wes really likes like black people.
Yeah, I guess, man. I mean,
like people on the stairs. This.
Yeah. In a time when African Americans in cinema
that
were.
That sound weird, huh?
Yeah, it did sound weird. I mean,
but it's true. Like especially back then.
Yeah, you either did one type of movie or you didn't really get a job other than being the token black guy in the movie. Wes Craven populated a good 3 movies at the very least with large African American casts.
Yeah.
And he pulled a lot of weight to get those movies made. Vampire in Brooklyn, I feel, is a very misunderstood movie, so I'm gonna show you that one eventually. And I'm interested to see how I'll react to it, because I remember liking the hell out of the movie, but it is it's a conflicting movie because the studio wanted a comedy because of Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy didn't want a comedy. And of course, Wes Craven was like, no, I'm not going to do a comedy. And so we get something that's kind of like neither or and yet both. Interesting. But we'll see. In the meantime, Serpent and Rainbow, glad you liked it. Check it out for something completely different. Don't check out Shocker. Anyway.
Yeah, Wes is not racist.
Yeah.
He might have diddled, but he's definitely not racist.
So that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're out. Let us know what you think about this movie. Hit like, share, subscribe, and those notification buttons.
Because we're out?
Of course.